the night I packed my bags and unpacked my strength. My name is Azariah Soline, and the night I packed my bags, nobody noticed. Nobody heard the zipper of the old suitcase sliding open on the floor. Nobody heard the quiet sound of my clothes folding one by one. And nobody heard my heart breaking in the silence of that room. But that night changed my life forever, because that was the night I stopped begging to be valued and started choosing my own peace. You see, people think toxic environments are loud. They imagine shouting, screaming, doors slamming, chaos and drama. But the truth is, the most dangerous environments are often the quiet ones. The places where your voice slowly disappears. The places where every time you try to speak, someone laughs at your ideas. Where every dream you have is dismissed as unrealistic. Where every mistake becomes proof that you are not good enough. That was the life I was living. Every day felt like walking on invisible eggshells. I had learned to measure my words carefully. I had learned to shrink my opinions. I had learned to silence my own thoughts just to avoid conflict. If I spoke up, I was told I was too sensitive. If I stayed quiet, I was told I was useless. If I tried harder, it was never enough. And slowly, without even realizing it, I began to believe those things about myself. I started apologizing for things that were not my fault. I started doubting things I once knew were true. And worst of all, I began to feel like I was a burden. There is a kind of exhaustion that comes from physical work, but the exhaustion of living in a place where you are constantly undervalued is a different kind of tired. It is the tired that reaches your soul. The kind that makes you stare at the ceiling late at night, asking yourself questions that have no answers. Questions like, how did my life become this? When did I stop recognizing the person in the mirror? When did I become someone who was afraid to exist loudly? I remember one night very clearly. The house was quiet, but my mind was loud. My thoughts kept repeating the same painful sentences. Maybe they are right about you. Maybe you are the problem. Maybe you really are too much, too emotional, too dramatic, too difficult. And when you hear something enough times, even if it is not true, part of you begins to accept it. That was the lowest point of my life. But sometimes, the lowest points are the places where truth finally becomes impossible to ignore. One evening, something happened that shook me awake.